Well, we'll start off with just a few of the postseason awards. Start off sort of by congratulating Tennessee on winning the regular season. To win the regular season this year, in a year where the league is as good as I've ever seen it, is quite an accomplishment. For us to be a game out of first place is also an accomplishment. And to win 13 games, to win 5 road games, and to only lose one at Neville. Obviously, it checks a few boxes. We put ourselves in position. Um, I'm happy for Aiden Holloway that he was recognized as one of the top freshmen. He leads us in assist turnover ratio, and that's important. That's hard for freshmen to do. Um, and he's a guy that teams have to game plan because he's so dangerous from three and offensively with the ball. He's improved a lot defensively. He's really worked hard at getting better on the defensive end, and there just aren't that many impact freshmen anymore that aren't at Kentucky or some of the real blue blood programs. So happy for Aiden, congratulations, and really happy for Jalen Williams to become an all-conference player in his senior year. He certainly has stepped his game up in many ways, and as has been written and talked about many times, we seem to play our best when he's playing his best. So whether we go as Jalen Williams goes, that's will continue to be determined. But I mean, it's been a real factor for us, and his ability to step up, I think, took this team from. I thought this team could be good. I thought this team would be good with a chance to be very good. And I did think that pick 6 was about where I would have picked us heading in 6th or 7th. And so, they've exceeded my expectations a little bit. Instead, this was a team that was very good with a chance to be great. And the reason for that are the players, period. The 3 transfers that came in, Denver and Chad and Cheney, have all had tremendous impact on our program, on and off the court. That's one of the more underrated and most successful classes that we've had. And all those guys are positioned for greatness in the future. Jalen stepped up play is a factor, and of course saving the best for last would be Janai Broom. Janai, in every year that he's been in college basketball, he has accomplished things. And so for him to come into Auburn and be an all-conference player as a junior and lead us, to a 10-point lead at halftime against Houston and with a chance to get to the Sweet 16 and was an accomplishment last year. And then to come back and be first team all-league, be on the all-defensive team, be a candidate for the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year. Again, when that was one of the things that Janai, I felt, really needed to work on from junior year to senior year was to become a better defender, become a better rim protector, to be able to switch out on guards and guard all 5 positions. He's done all that. And then, of course, the last one is this All-American, one of only 14 players in history of Auburn basketball to be an All-American. It was a goal. It was something that mattered to Janai. And just very proud of him for achieving that. We've had 2 good days of practice, Monday and Tuesday. We travel to Nashville today, and we have to prepare for 3 teams: Vanderbilt, Arkansas, and South Carolina. We've beaten all 3 of those teams, and we played exceptionally well, both at Arkansas, particularly in the second half, and then the South Carolina game, which both, and we beat Vanderbilt twice, fairly close, and Vanderbilt, of course, is right there in Nashville. So I would imagine that whoever we play, it'll be a lot closer this next time. I think physicality and remaining unselfish would be the 2 keys to our ability to continue to advance in postseason play. Will we be able to step it up physically? Because they tend to let you play during the tournament, so we got to be able to play through a lot more contact that won't be called, and then continue to share the ball, make each other better offensively, which I think has been part of the key of why some of our offensive numbers have been so good down the stretch.
Bruce, I guess just when you approach a conference tournament like this with the opportunity to play so many different teams, what's kind of your basic overview of the week as a coach when you have to scout different teams? I guess what does your preparation look like?
Well, we have 3 different coaching teams that are scouting. It appears that Stephen Pearl has most of the opponents on this side of the bracket, so as coaches, we are really working on our game plans. The players are working on what we do. We've spent 2 days working on what we do because we don't know who we're playing. So even today, like I have not gone through, I don't think, nor will I, go through any scouting until Thursday with the players. We're going through our offenses and our defenses and the things that we need to get better at, and that's what we're doing.
Bruce, this is a team for you guys. It's the lowest turnover rate and the highest assist rate that you've ever had a team here. But to have that with 2 young point guards, I mean, what does that say about Aiden and Trey and just kind of how they've been able to run the show this season on offense for y'all?
Yeah, it's a great stat, and it does speak to the fact that we've got the youngest point guards in college basketball, Power 5, with the exception of maybe Kentucky. Kentucky would have 2 freshmen, and we've got a freshman and a sophomore. You just don't see it anymore. Because of how old teams have gotten and are getting, and with the transfer and everything like that. I think that both Trey and Aiden have taken great care of the ball. They've understood our offenses. They've played within their limitations. They're unselfish. But they both are threats to score. And, they've just done a really good job taking care of the ball and valuing possessions, as has our team, in the sense that one of the things that we talk about, we love to score early. And we also have confidence that what we do can work. And when we get away from it, we don't get as good as shots. We don't put ourselves in as good as offensive rebounding position. We're susceptible to turnovers because the spacing's not there. And we've had a lot of buy-in.
Bruce, what do you think are some of the ingredients of making a postseason run? I know everybody would refer to 2019, but you can go back to 2015 and the SEC tournament run that team made, and those are 2 very different teams.
Yeah, I mean, I've always sort of held to the thought that cream rises to the top at the end of the year. So I think the most dangerous teams are sometimes the underachieving teams, the ones with lots of talent that just finish the regular season and just don't think they really accomplished anything. They know they left a lot on the table. In 1995, I won a national championship with a team that finished 3rd in the league. And we felt like, and we weren't a team that really got along very well. They didn't like each other, and actually they didn't like each other, but I got along pretty well with them. But they were talented, and we had underachieved, which doesn't happen. I'd like to say I don't think does happen very often, because I'm kind of a grinder and I won't allow it. But they did, and they got in that tournament and they ran. I think 2019 was a team that had talent and finished 5th in the league, and we felt like we were better than that, and made some runs. So that's often the case. When you are playing your best basketball, down the stretch, that does matter, and we've played some pretty good basketball down the stretch here, so we're in position. You have to have depth because it's 3 games in 3 days. In this case, this weekend, and a little bit of back-to-back, and so getting hot at the right time, and knowing that you're playing for something. Experience matters too.
Bruce, you guys will be up there in time to watch that first Vandy Arkansas game, and then whoever wins that versus South Carolina. Is there anything extra you can get from watching those games in person, your scout guys, instead of just relying on film?
Yeah, I mean, they'll be able to pick up play calls and OBs, and just they'll be able to pick up some hand signals and some verbals and things like that. That's the thing about live scouting that you can pick up that you can't, because the only time you're allowed to live scout is in tournament play.
BP, Monday will be 10 years to the day since you flew in, had your press conference back there. Just any thoughts a decade later? You said that night, we will play for championships at Auburn. There's no question in my mind. And Auburn hadn't done much recently up until then. So just looking back 10 years later on Monday.
Well, it's a tough, with the SEC tournament looming in front of us, an NCAA tournament in front of it. I'm not a very good reflector. I could just tell you that I was very emotional that day, extremely emotional. Having my family being around me, us all moving to Auburn, Alabama. Grateful for Dr. Gouge and Jay Jacobs and the board to give me the opportunity to get back into coaching. It was just and I just think all I remember is telling the Auburn family what was in my heart, and I'm glad that I'm glad I'm still here. I do have a tradition that when I do speak to the tip-off club, I do say, War Eagle, and they'll say War Eagle, and I'll say, I'm still here.
Is there anything you and the guys are trying to prove on this trip?
Say what now?
Is there anything you and the guys are trying to prove this season on the trip, tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that athletes and coaches were built a certain way to try to prove them right or prove them wrong, and I don't think that separates us from the others. I think everybody is going into March with something to prove.
Maybe kind of similar, but a little bit different. When Katie was in here on Saturday, he said that the team had seen some things on College game day that they kind of took a little bit personal. Do you feel like this team is playing with a chip on its shoulder? Does this team operate better when it plays with a chip on its shoulder?
I think we do. I think that obviously, if we're picked in the middle of the league and we finished up near the top, or I know specifically that and look, College game day guys have been phenomenal to us. They've been there 4 years in a row, and look, they got to pick somebody, but for whatever reason, it was. Maybe they just don't think we have much rise left. Maybe just think that we've overachieved, and so therefore they felt like we were a little overrated, and that we weren't going to be a team that was going to make much noise. And so, yeah, you definitely use that to motivate the players as to what they're thinking, what other people are thinking.
In the summer when Janai had that run in the scouting and the combine, and then decided to come back, how much, looking back, did you see kind of that has kind of helped him, or I guess kind of pushed him to the season he's had this year?
Well, I don't think when Janai went into the combine, when he first went in, I really think that he was thinking about coming back. But when he went into the combine, and he was one of the very best players at that G League combine, and he really was, that there's nobody there better than he was. And then he got invited to the combine, and then when he went to the combine, he belonged. It gave him confidence. I think it really was a great thing to go through that process. And then once he was evaluated as a potential late second round pick or something, without really any guarantees, he didn't have any guarantees. It was the right decision for him to come back because, right now with NIL. You don't have to go too soon. You don't have to. You can go when you're ready. And so I think that again, it was a really good decision, and he's made a lot out of that decision.
you've talked this season about how well you think your staff has done when the pressure's on this time of the year. How important is it to have that familiarity with that core that you've had for several years now on your staff?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that we do is we don't get away from what we do. You know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And so we'll approach things just so the way we always do, so the kids don't see a whole lot difference. You know, we'll travel to Nashville the way we always travel to Nashville. We're staying at the same hotel that we stay at when we played Vanderbilt. You know, we just keep our routines. There's going to be more media. There's going to be more excitement because the fans and obviously the Nashville's going to be lit, and we'd love to spend the weekend there, and we'd love to work all weekend.
BP, what would you say if you would say anything different to guys like Cheney, Denver, Aiden, who maybe haven't gone through this high-level postseason sort of atmosphere experience? Some of the guys have, but those are some key guys that haven't. Is there anything you tell them to prepare them, or do you feel like they're in a good spot?
I don't think I would talk to any of the guys that haven't been to the SEC tournament any differently than the guys that have been. I actually think that's something that players will talk themselves about what, you know, kind of what to expect, and, you know, so on and so forth. You know, my job would be obviously to prepare them, and use, like, in other words, for example, again, it's late, it's March, and, you know, the way the games will be officiated, most likely, as long as it's a clean game, they're going to let the kids play. They're just not going to try to get in the way of things. So you're going to get fouled sometimes. It's not going to get called. You got to score through contact. Can't be disrupted quite so much by a hand check. You know, flopping's not going to get rewarded. Just the way the game will be. And then obviously, again, the physicality of the. So my job would be to prepare the players, you know, sort of for that. Again, because I think the kids like each other, trust each other. They know, you know, I think they know what they got to do, and you know, it's step up time. You know, it's you step up, you stay. You don't, you go home.